to pop before I choose a side. Yet the shadow of glass beneath my feet cuts this godforsaken street. Why can't we make things disappear? Steal the poison from our tears. Oh, crocky crosses bend on the wall. Slow destruction of our childhood homes. High illusions, they seem no more, no Crocky crosses pinned on the walls. Slow destruction of our childhood homes. High illusions that seem no more, no
Yes, guys. Welcome back to another stream. Hopefully, you guys are all doing well. Make sure you guys are smashing up the likes. Make sure you guys are subscribing to the channel if you're new. Man City have just won our 5th game against the top 6 side in the last 18 months. Can you believe that? That's absolutely insane. It's a poor record, but we made it one little bit better today with a 3-1 win. Loads to talk about. Abdelkadir Khusanov, his first 5 minutes, bit of a disaster, but then the recovery, phenomenal for me. The midfield actually done all right. We got Marmoush, we got Haaland to talk about. Phil Foden, is he now officially back? John Stones coming back into the team. Ederson's distribution today, absolutely unbelievable. So loads of stuff to talk about. Make sure you're getting involved in the live chat as well. Smash the likes up and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to throw this out to Joe, and then boys just throw in like your summary really of today, bro. What you making of that, man? 3-1.
Yeah, after the sort of the nightmare start that we had, and look, I don't really want to talk about Khusanov's opening 5 minutes. To be honest, because I think that that's something that can happen to anyone at any time. It's just I think the idea of what he was trying to do wasn't really. It was fine what he tried. He just kind of messed it up. And you look for a 20-year-old who doesn't speak English who's being thrown into the current defensive situation that we've got. I'm definitely not going to hold it against him. I think after that, he did really well to sort of compose himself and not look like a totally, not look like a totally lost. He kind of looked like when a new kid starts at the school and he doesn't have any mates yet because he's only just started and it comes to like the first break time and he's just kind of stood there on his own. It looks a bit like that, but that's kind of what's been. I think Pep came out after the game and said that he'd only had one training session with the team. So I mean, how anybody can expect anything more than what we got out of him today is just like I don't know what people want with those being the circumstances, but yeah, after sort of 15, 20 minutes, I was looking at this game and I was thinking, Jesus, how did we beat these? We got lucky with when we were playing Chelsea at the start of the season, like those stuff hadn't come in. But I think as the game went on, we had a couple of counter-attacks. It became pretty clear that, Maresca's done well with this Chelsea side, but he's looking a bit like, he's kind of very Ange Postecoglou-ish, in the sense that he has one way of playing football and he will refuse to adapt to no matter whatever he's playing against. And that high line was just perfect for what we wanted to do going the other way with both Marmoush and Haaland on the pitch. The goal itself came from Nunez and Gvardiol, like making a quick run up the other end. So I think we were allowed to be the team that does the counter-attacking this time, which was actually really sort of positive to see. And it's good to see Ederson's distribution actually be used to good effect, because the number of times that we've looked at Haaland and what he can do sort of physically and just wondered why we don't play that long ball over the top to him more often. Largely it's because teams just sit back and don't allow us the space to do it. But when a team like Chelsea turns up and gives you that space, it becomes a no-brainer to just start hitting the ball up to him multiple times as we did. And obviously, like, there's the goal, there was the that led to his goal that ultimately came from an Ederson assist, and it also led to Foden's goal with the ball being, like, played up to him and then perfectly, like, pretty much perfect centre forward play to just hold it up and then lay it off to Foden for a one-on-one. Yeah, very, 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 very happy with the result that I absolutely did not see coming. Like, Chelsea must be shit if they turn up to the Etihad against current Manchester City and putting in a performance like that. But yeah, we did really well to sort of nullify their big danger men. I mean, Cole Palmer we got quite fortunate with him playing he had a counter attack, didn't he? And he fucked up the pass to Jackson. Bottled it big time. But I think if he'd have got that, plenty of other times he'd have got that right, and then we'd have been 2-0 down straight off the bat. But he didn't, and for the rest of the game we barely saw him, and that's kind of that it might not have been a perfect defensive performance because they still went through us a few times, and we know what our midfield is at this point. But I think we're going the other way, as we've kind of been saying since maybe the turn of the year. Really, scoring goals isn't a problem for us anymore. We're actually consistently getting goals, and the longer we can keep doing that, then we've kind of turned. We've not turned the corner in terms of like we're back or anything like that, but we've turned a corner.
Defo, I agree. I think we were we just felt so more free flowing today going forward. I think this is the first win in ages where I've come away thinking we did deserve it. Just with Marmoush cutting in off the left, Foden bringing into central positions, they became so much more dangerous because of the threat that Guardiola and Nunes brought, playing high and wide on each wing as well. I thought Guardiola was our best player by a mile today. I thought he was absolutely fantastic.
Man of the match,
he's come in for a bit of stick, hasn't he, the last few weeks? So he deserves all the credit today. I thought he was fucking incredible, man. And at the end of the day, the guy could have had a hat-trick, couldn't he?
Should have had a hat-trick, really.
There was been talk a few weeks ago about how he's a centre-back and not a full-back and all this shit. This guy is one of the best full-backs in the world when he's on his day, man. Especially as an attacking full-back. There's nobody that makes runs like this guy in behind. And because of the threat of his runs, it brings people like Marmoush, Foden and Haaland into the game so much more. How much better was Haaland today? Because of the threat all around the pitch, all across the front four with these guys making runs. I think it improves his game so much more because in the past, I think we've been guilty of being a bit one-dimensional with the attacks and with Haaland, and he probably suffers because everyone's expecting him to be the guy to always score the goals. And now that we've got numerous players trying to get into these advanced positions, it's creating so much more space for him to be Haaland as well. So it was so good, man, to see. And Marmoush impressed me. He was always there was a couple of times where he was offside, but he's always looking to spin off the last man and try and get in behind. Bernardo, your best mate, LB, pulled out today. You got to give him props.
Excellent.
He was very good.
He was very good.
So yeah, I was impressed, man. And even in the crowd as well, I just felt like there was such a better atmosphere around the whole game. I think we needed a bit of new blood in the team.
It's the signings. Signings,
even though Khusanov did have a slow start, people were still getting behind him, man. Do you know, like when he knocked Jackson off the ball, everyone was up. And it's just brought a bit of excitement back into the crowd, which was good, man. It was good, and it was a great win, and absolutely buzzing.
I, for once, was very happy with the midfield. I thought Gundogan wasn't a total dumpster fire. People forget that the first goal was completely due to him playing a great ball in behind. Nunes, incredible. Again, the running behind there. What I liked about him, he held the width excellently. He had a couple really, really good overlaps. I know, I can't remember if it was LB and Sai yesterday talking about how Zabaleta used to overlap all the time, and we've never really had an overlapping fullback since then. Nunes, out of possession, not the best, but today we'd get the ball, he'd overlap, and he'd actually make himself available in an extra threat and attack. He had lots of runs in behind. Marmoush offside a couple times, but he was just a nuisance. He actually attracted attention away from Haaland,
Yeah,
which in turn sort of allowed Ederson to go long. And, I think it was pretty crazy that Ederson went from one of his worst games distribution-wise to today, probably his best ever, maybe. He pretty much got 2 assists. But yeah, no, we played against a high line similar to how Spurs do it, and we actually played to our strengths and played how we should. We played direct. We didn't do all this sideways passing, and it worked to our advantage. So I don't really have a lot of complaints.
I think for me, like going off what Danny's just added there, in terms of the midfield, I think the first 5-6 minutes when we all know how open we were and how exposed Khusanov was, it was good to see Bernardo just get in the midfield and just make sure that ball didn't go anywhere near him when he had any trouble on him. For a while, it was a case of every time Khusanov got the ball, we could all see what was about to happen. Bernardo was particularly just dropped back and he just started dictating tempo. And I think something kind of clicked in him today. Something kind of made him realise he's actually a decent footballer again. You know what I mean? He put a shift in and he was good on the ball and it was everywhere. He was closing down in our half. He was closing down in their half. Yeah, it was like a man possessed today. And that was good to see because we need that. And that's something that we've been missing. We've been so exposed. And even at times today, even some of the amount of times Kovacic got caught on the ball, we still managed to recover we had players there to do it. So that was good to see. And I think the main thing for me that stood out is the horniness of Marmoush, man. He is horny for the ball. He will run in behind all season. He will just keep going. And having somebody like that who is willing to just run and make these snide runs inside fullbacks and stuff. So he could have quite easily had 2 goals in the first half if one of them might have been offside, and then that one was well off and the other one was close. So having somebody like that it's his first game and he's just so up for it, and you just know he's going to punish people going in behind, and that just stretches teams like we don't stretch teams like we used to. So having Marmoush be able to put in something like that today, just for a good hour, just running and running and running. That's going to help us out massive because it just frees Haaland up and it gives some people can play like that and they just think, you know what, I'm in here. I'm in a team. Here's my massive bollocks and I'm going for it. I'll play. And that sort of makes people stand up and the shoulders go big, and they look across the pitch and Haaland sees Marmoush is having it and Gvardiol's having it. And, the way the team's rallying around, he thinks I can have it. And it just sort of gives everyone an extra 5-10%. And then Haaland just carried on through the game.
Well, you know what it is, Paul Pierre? Like a couple of weeks ago, just before this, transfer window, or maybe it was during the transfer window, and I chat about. I said to people, listen, when the fans are talking about signings, and I'm talking about signings, and we're talking about signing, we want signings because we want signings, right? But what some people don't realise is the players in the team know that they need signings. They're not stupid. They want signings. They want City to make signings. So I said, once you get a couple of players through the door, the morale of the squad will go up and the morale of the fan base go up. And Jay said it was at the game. The atmosphere today, we needed them new players in because I think the fans realised, and even the fans that's would still glaze the squad, they know deep down that the squad ain't good enough. So now we've got these players through the door. Yeah, I think it's just given everybody a lift. It's given the squad a lift. Now, we still need more players, of course we do. But that should hopefully now can kick us on and we can start getting behind ourselves and hopefully these players can start putting on some decent performances. But Pat, I'll come to you, mate. Well, what are you saying?
Oh, yeah. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone in the chat. I hope we're all doing well. A very nice rebound after a poor performance midweek, I must say. I think usually when we rebound from results like that, the first thing we want to do is just almost play at a win at all costs sort of situation. And I think everybody sort of, took a real big step up in their performances today compared to what they did on midweek. I think the big talking point probably for everybody was obviously Khusanov. I know I was a bit late to the chat, so I don't know how much to an extent we've spoken about with him, but it is very, very tough for a young man to come in these sort of circumstances as well. But I think he held his own for the rest of the game after that. He blocked that shot from Cole Palmer. He put a really nice tackle in before he got substituted as well. So we got to take plenty of time with this guy, and certainly Victor Hayes falls in the same category as well too. So you could have had Victor out there today, and he could have done the exact same thing. So we just got to support these guys through thick and thin. So yeah, plenty of time for these guys. I think we certainly have to allow these guys to almost be immune from criticism while they take time to develop. They're such raw talents, and they're going to be superstars in the future if we just go about it the right way with these guys. Who else can I say? We mentioned Mateus Nunes as well. I think the first 20 minutes it was a little bit shaky, but the way he sort of got forward and as Joe mentioned, Danny mentioned, expanded the pitch. I think we need to look at this guy as long as he's going to keep playing on that right hand side. We need to look at him the same way we looked at like Angelino or Sergio Gomez. It's like you're only a fullback. You're only a fullback and nothing but name. We'd rather you stayed forward. We'd rather you were on the front foot. We'd rather you were attacking all the time during a game. Don't worry about the defensive stuff. You've got Bernardo Silva who can recover. Kovacic can help in a pinch as well too. And a fully fit Rodri can do those sort of things as well. So don't worry about that. You're just a midfielder. You're only a right back in name. That's it. You just go ahead and do your utilitarian role that you did, and you did a great job at it. You built and you basically came into the game as it unfolded. I wanted to talk about the second goal that we scored, because if you talk about the lead up to that goal, I noticed for about 10 minutes prior to us scoring that, we had at least 3 or 4 opportunities where Edison kept poking the ball forward to Haaland. And I don't know if he was, because TV doesn't tell you everything, but I don't know if he was trying to pinpoint a particular defender to try and get a one-on-one, or he was trying to get the ball forward to see if Sanchez was off his line. Because
it was Chalobah he was on.
Yeah.
Haaland.
He was at the scene of crime every single time.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but what I'm saying is like when he kept pinging those balls forward, the ones that didn't result in a goal, and if anybody was in the ground, did anybody notice if Sanchez was off his line at the same time as that too? Like, was there something that Haaland and Edison may have seen leading up to that forced them to keep going for those long balls all the time?
No, I don't think it was a case of Sanchez being off, not from where I could see it anyway.
Okay.
I think it was more of a case of Marmoush and Foden was splitting wide. Guardiola and Nunes would be split even wider. So Haaland would find himself in a position where he had a defender pinned one-on-one. So I think with the players going short, that ball was always on in the second half. And Haaland really fancied it against Chalobah as well. You could tell that he was pulling on.
So Jake, is that one of those things where now that we've got someone like a Mamouche who can play off the left or play off the right, they might be able to drag more defenders away and actually give Haaland more one-on-one opportunities. Because I think it's something that we need to utilize a bit more. We only seem to, at the end of every season with the highlights, we only ever seem to see one sort of Edison assist, Haaland goal. But it's like I'd rather see one every couple of games, or like at least an attempt to see more in every single game, because he's got the pace, he's got the power to muscle anybody off the ball, and Edison's got the power to put a ball on a dime for anybody. So. I think more of the same. Like I wish we could see more of that in every game.
That sort of perfect. Chelsea were pressing high. You could see they had 4 players in around the 18-yard box, and it was higher than the rest of them. And if Haaland's one-on-one and we can just work it about, then it's on, because I'd fancy, other than Van Dijk, who's obviously the only one that's ever given really one-on-one problems, I guess, in terms of physicality. If there's a chance to ping a ball into the diagonals, into the corners like that, and it's on, and that's the result of a team like Chelsea or any other team pressing really high, then why don't we use that? We've not used it nowhere near enough. Yeah. And, and that was a good point today, is that his distribution was brilliant at the back, Edison. His ping balls were like he's had a kick up the arse, and he's realised that, you know what, if I want to play, I've got to do that. It's like he was kind of disappointed himself while he played against PSG, right? And today his passing was just brilliant, and especially them ping balls through. How many keepers can specifically keep getting assists that are meant, rather than like, I mentioned before about Robinson being a guy who's got the most. I mean, a lot of them were just long hoofs up front. That, you know what I mean?
Like fluky,
but the Edison's are all pinpoint diags that you expect a centre back to ping through.
His passing today was incredible. Compared it to, like Danny said before, comparing it to Paris, which was awful, probably his worst ever, in my opinion. Like today, they were all like pinpoint, accurate. And that's what you want to see.
I think how important he is, though, in it, because people always forget this about Edison, right? The argument is that he's not as good a shot stopper as other keepers, but we do not win that game today without Edison. I'm telling you now, our build-up and the way we can spring forward quicker all comes from Edison. Especially with a high press like Chelsea was playing today, the only way we can play through the lines is starting with Edison. Like, he makes such a difference in our whole build-up from the back. And then even when there's nothing on short for him, he's got that in his locker to be able to go long to Haaland as well. Like, he's so important to the team when we're trying to play from the back. And I know he has his errors in him, but you cannot forget how important the guy is to the whole build-up and the way we play.
It's like he's not he's not the best keeper in the world, but he's like the best keeper for us in the world. Like there's no one else. There's no one else there's not a single keeper that I'd rather have than Ederson. Like, and this is why it sends my head when people say they want Ortega to be our number one instead of Ederson. I'm just mate, I'm just like, you don't understand like what Ederson is good at if you think that's the case. I think the reason why we don't see that ball to Haaland often enough is because obviously today was mint because Chelsea played a suicidal high line, but no one does that against us. Like, we're not in a position where we can have the opportunities made today every 2 or 3 games. It just can't happen because 9 times out of 10, teams, especially this season, teams are sitting back and hitting us on the break. So, most times when Haaland gets the ball sort of at the edge of the centre circle in their half, rather than knowing that if he beats Chalobah, he's got a clear run on goal. If he beats normally he's got a defensive mid on him, and then he's got to turn around and look at an entire front four that's got, if he beats that centre mid, he's got a whole defence to get past ahead of him. So we're not like, I think we'd love to utilise that long ball over the top, especially with having Haaland. But like I said before, we're lucky that we've come up against a manager who's so tactically stubborn that he won't change anything about the way they set up. To most managers, like, how many, like, as you say, as you said, Pat, it was happening for like 10 minutes before it actually resulted in a goal.
I saw at least 3 or 4 times he poked past to him. Yeah.
Any half decent manager would have just like made the defense like go back 5 or 10 yards, like, and just sort of like go, right, well, they're obviously going to just do this every single time, so let's not encourage it. And instead they just carried on playing exactly this. And maybe there's something a bit on that on the players as well from Chelsea's point of view, but yeah, I think Pep would absolutely love to have that be a thing that he could rely on most games or even half of the games. But because of the way that teams set up against us, we just find ourselves unable to use it. And it's great that when we have games like this, and knowing that the same thing is possible when we come against teams like Liverpool or even Arsenal next week, for example, like they may well set up quite similarly. Although I suspect that current day Arsenal will probably be a lot more defensive. It's good to know that Haaland is at the point is sort of getting confidence in that sort of built that hold up play. Because I mean, for me, that like his goal was mint, but I think his involvement for Foden's goal is possibly even better. Like, I just think that the way that he held off the defender and then like held it off, knowing full well that Foden was on the way, and perfectly played the ball into him, giving Foden a 1-on-1. It was just there's obviously his goal is good, but his goal mostly happens because Sanchez like runs to the edge of his own box for absolutely no reason. But in terms of seeing something that I think is genuinely repeatable in a lot of games, that third goal and what he does for Foden is more of an indication.
And
of
I
what
think
he can
we need
do
to see that more from him. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think we see that enough from him, and he's proved today that he can do it. He has got it in his locker with the right service. So it was good to see, man, because we've been calling for this link up and hold up play for a few weeks now. So I was buzzing that he managed to get it done and get an assist today, and hopefully we see more of it in the coming weeks with this new kind of free flowing system we've got up there. Hopefully, gets a lot more of the ball now that he finds himself 1-on-1 with defenders. So yeah, it was good to see.
I hope we unleash Marmoush for the next like 3 or 4 matches.
Yeah, but I'm sort of curious to see how he operates against a deeper block, because I think he really thrived off the fact that they played the suicidal high line. The thing I will say about Haaland is the guy actually moved around quite a lot. He was popping up on the left, sometimes on the right. And, I think the more mobile he is, again, the better we play. It might not be his strength, but it plays to our strengths more. If he was standing still the whole game, I don't think Ederson would have been nearly as effective. But it's the fact he was actually making runs, whether in behind or side to side, that really helped us.
Yeah, no, facts. I do want to come back into the defence and speak about that. And I'll speak about Nunes, because I think he deserves credit, but I want to speak about the whole defence as a whole. Before I do, I want to come to some of these super chats. Guys, make sure you are smashing these likes up as well. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel if you've not done so already. Big up to Dalton, says, I don't want to hear any shit about Khusanov. He's going to be a baller. Give him time. Facts. Couldn't agree more, mate. Couldn't agree more. Spot on, pal. Big up to LB.
Same can be said for Vita Hayes as well.
Yeah, exactly. These guys are going to need time, man. Going to need time. Go to LB, says, why is Rory the Tory here? He slagged our striker off.
Is this Rory? Rory, you said
Jennings.
Is this a reference to the Mine and Pulpy stream the other day?
This guy said that Jackson is better than Haaland. I seen it this morning, and I was absolutely pissing myself laughing. Like, how is this is the same guy that said Haaland would flop in the Prem. He wouldn't score 15 goals in his first year, and now he's saying that he'd rather have
It's
Jackson.
a disrespect to the establishment, whatever that means.
Exactly.
And yet here we are all talking about him. It's interesting how that works, isn't it?
I know, it is interesting. He knows what he's doing, put it that way. Built to Massam, it says Telegraph Ducker is a CU9T. Yeah, bro, that article, man. They're all doing it. Sky Sports was on it, man, just showing it constantly. The media are on it. The media, were desperate for him to get sent off. They were desperate.
Yeah.
They're going to have something to write about, man.
Even the TV coverage in America, every time the ball went out, it would cut to Khusanov.
So weird,
what the fuck are you doing?
I don't get it.
The Sky coverage in the UK was a disgrace.
The Sky coverage, mate.
Absolute disgrace.
I have to. By the way,
even here in Australia, though, they just kept saying, he's had a shocker. He's had a shocker. Get it, like, you know, when is City going to get him off? It was just
Bro, this is the thing
they
for
were just
me. Yeah,
dumping on him every chance they got. Every chance they got.
Bro, I'm not saying they shouldn't have covered it. Like, obviously, they've got to talk about it. But, like, after the game, every time I looked at the TV, they were just showing it and they were zooming in on it. They were zooming in on his head. And I was like, he's headed it. I was like, what the fuck? Like, he's headed it. He's misheaded it. Like, it's a mistake, bro. Like,
players make those mistakes every single week.
They absolutely murdered him at half time. And rightly so, he had a stinker, right? And that was literally the biggest thing of the first half was this young kid's come, he's done that, and he owns it, and whatever. But then the second half, they absolutely murdered that post-match. They murdered him again for 15 minutes.
Why are they even going back to it when we've won the fucking
Honestly,
game?
they won't stop showing it. They won't stop showing it. And Gary Cahill stood there in his
That's how they
fucking...
work. That's how they
Gary
work.
Cahill was stood there in like a second-hand suit with his ill-fitting trousers on, mate, going over it and absolutely burying him. And then Redknapp's giving his mouth full. I'm like, what are you on about, mate? And then it stopped a bit. Then they started again. And then they started talking. I was like, fucking leave him alone, mate. We've just won 3-1. And they got through the game and they spent 3 minutes on Sanchez, who had an absolute stinker, cut to Maresca and then ended the show. I was like, oh, come on.
At least he don't speak English, so he'll never know, will he? It'll be all right.
Yeah, honestly, mate, they were like LB said, they were desperate for him to get sent off.
They were desperate.
They were desperate for him. Absolutely.
I'm glad, to be fair, off the back of that first half, that I think it would have been very easy for Pep to just bring him off at half time, but I was begging for him not to do it because I think that if you do that, you kind of look like it looks like
I agree.
It looks like you've hauled him off at the first opportunity.
Yeah,
So
it was a big statement to bring him on, to leave him on. To be fair,
you couldn't. If you sub him before half time, you've killed him. That's it. You've Xerxed the fuck out of him at that point, and there's no way that that's going to end well. But I think that you have to get to half time, and I'm glad that he didn't do it at half time because that looks like you wanted to sub him earlier, but you morally can't do it. You just wanted to wait till half time. And I think even just giving him what was it, 8 minutes or something? Let him make a tackle that shows that you're actually quite concerned about the yellow card, and just you can say that you're bringing him off for that.
Yeah, and he got clapped off. You know what I mean? He got some support.
You got a good cheer with that challenge. You got a match here.
Yeah, and they probably was going to put John Stones on for a bit, to be fair, and give him a run out to get some game time.
Stones was incredible when he come on. By the way, I feel like he changed the whole the way.
Let me finish off these chats, man, and then I'm going to come on to that because I do want to speak about Stones and the defense. Built to show you, bro. Says Pep talking to Palmer after the game. I think he wants him back. Well, you're probably going to need 150 million quid minimum to do that.
He didn't play like 150 million today.
No,
I'd pay it.
He shipped out of that 1v1, didn't he?
No, he did let us off. Built to Benno as well. Says fans need to lay off Khusanov. I've seen people saying get rid already. Anyone saying that, man, is just ridiculous in my opinion. Yeah, ridiculous, man. Crazy. John, I said this, bro. I said this in the watch along. Yeah, John Stones' first season under Pep Guardiola, Southampton at home. He literally passed the ball to Nathan Redmond on the edge of the penalty area, and the guy scored. You remember that? You remember that game?
Yep.
Like, bro, this is his John Stones moment, bro. Like, just chill, innit? It's
do you remember that Falcao against
got
Monaco
bullied
where
off
he got
Falcao,
bullied?
Yeah.
And
he had plenty of stinkers in his first season. It's almost as if defenders playing for Pep Guardiola is quite difficult, and one training session where you don't speak the language is not the perfect prep for that.
Facts.
Not even just the first season. The COVID season, never wanted him gone, and he redeemed himself.
Yeah.
Nelly Lutz makes a good point here. I'm looking forward to seeing Khusanov playing next to Ruben Diaz. I think Ruben Diaz will just control Khusanov like a pit bull on a leash, and then just when he needs to set him loose, you just off you go.
So does he speak Portuguese? Is that what I've read there? Is he the one that speaks some Portuguese?
Well, that would be Vitor Reis because I'm sure Brazil.
No, Bernardo speaks French. Apparently,
some of them speak French, don't they? One of them speaks the same language that Khusanov does, obviously naturally. So I think probably that helped why he dropped into that defensive midfield role. So
Bernardo was in his ear quite a lot today.
yeah, that probably was right.
Ground as well.
That's what I mentioned before about him dropping deep and making sure
I
he was
bet it's
someone near him.
French. I bet.
Yeah, I know
speaks
there's a few
bit of
that speak the
Yeah.
languages that they do natively, don't they? So
Yeah, so he apparently, according to the Manchester City website, he can speak Uzbek and Russian and was having French lessons while he was at Lens. So obviously that means that.
I thought it was.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
I knew
so-
it was. I knew
so
obviously the
Bernardo-
Portuguese were brilliant, he's right. Yeah, but
Yeah, so Bernardo being able to speak French.
Joe, you just mentioned Russian. That's probably why the media goes after him.
Yeah.
well, put it this way, Khusanov knows one phrase in English now, and that's "get fucking rid."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been told that one.
Fucking snap him.
Get fucking
But,
rid.
yeah, big up to you, Nelly. Anyway, but yeah, you're spot on about that, bro. You want to see AK? Yeah, I'm going to speak about the defense in a second about Diaz and Stones, man. Big up to you. Big up to Neil as well. It says, enjoy football after a long time. To win our second Champions League, we need a DM and Cambiasso. Well, the rumours early on before the game was that City are going to make a bid for Cambiasso tonight. Could be BS, but we'll keep our eye on it, bro. We'll keep our eye on it. Big up Neil as well for the 20 bomb there. Big up to Stallion says, shame on James Ducker, Telegraph, for that article about Khusanov. He's only 20 years old, doesn't speak any English, only had 2 training sessions. Players usually take a season to settle in with. It's easy prey. That's what it is. It's an easy prey, an easy article, and all the rival fans will be clicking on it saying, City, you've got a flop.
All the
That's
traffic
what
goes
it'll
to the
be.
website because of that. And
All the traffic, bro.
The,
It's mad.
The article itself isn't actually, I don't think, isn't actually that horrendous. But
No, but that's what they always do. They always do it with the clicks.
Clickbait.
Yeah,
Clickbait,
exactly. Yeah, so it won't. And I know that this is a very easy journalist defense that people use, but Ducker won't have written that tweet and that headline. But whoever's done that with the what was it, nightmare debut, Pep hauls it
Yeah,
off
I'm looking at
early.
it now.
I
Yeah,
mean,
because that's the first I've heard of it.
hauling off a player at 55 minutes is not early. That's like a very common substitution
it
time.
is common substitution.
And also, like the idea that they said nightmare debut if which fair enough. Like it's not what anyone wants to do, but I just think whoever's written that knows what they're doing, and you have to just look at the engagement on the tweet for it. But I don't think Ducker's actual article was that.
Joe, this is where it gets
awful,
interesting.
I
If you go on James Ducker's Twitter, 2 hours ago, he put a post saying the way City's players managed the Khusanov situation was really impressive. His nightmare debut could have been undone, could have undone them, but they found a way to navigate it up to his substitution. Chelsea, by contrast, failed to exploit it after that initial gift. So he's probably copped a lot of flack for what he said on the Telegraph, and now he's trying to recall. Yeah,
maybe.
He's trying to sweeten it up. He's trying to butter it up.
His name's out there, and he's getting a bit of thing for it, and he's like the Northern correspondent, right? So
but he's getting the backlash now, and now he's trying to recount his words. Yeah, weak prick.
Probably not. Got a couple more left. Big up to Dylan, who says, "Give me a KDB, Foden, Marmoush, Savio, Haaland for Arsenal." Also, did
we will get murdered with that, but also it'd be very fun.
It'd be fun. Also, did you not see the FIFA president, Gianni Infantino, Caldoon, Soriano, sat in the side? Yeah, I think it's because of the Club World Cup, bro. Chelsea are in it, City are in it, so he's probably just here because of that. I imagine that's probably one of the reasons.
Did anybody see in Paris, PSG's owner was in the stands next to Sefrin?
Yeah, not surprising.
They're both on the UEFA board, that's why.
Yeah, that's probably
is he still on the executive board?
He's on the board too, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, not an issue. Big up to Ash as well. Says, good to see us be more direct, help bypass the press, especially since we tend to overplay at times during the build-up. Will defo be needed for the February fixtures. Spot on, bro. Spot on. Big up Ash. Big up Echo Fall says, what a game to be back at the Etihad for the first time in 18 years. Haaland, fantastic hold-up. Phil, great. Marmoush, very promising. Edison, sensational. Yeah, that is pretty mad, bro. That is pretty crazy. And final one, big up to E-Ink, says, big up Bernardo doing French mentoring for Khusanov. Big up to you. Facts. Oh, and there's one more that's coming. Big up to Tone, says, evening all. Marmoush movement is something I've not seen for City for a while. Khusanov did okay after a nightmare start. Let's build on the impressive win. Big up to you guys. Appreciate the donations. What I wanted to speak about was the defense, right? And I want to speak about Núñez, but I also want to speak about the other players because Sai said something pretty interesting on the player ratings that we did about how Núñez seemed to come out of his shell when John Stones come on the pitch in that second half, especially. Now, I've said over the last week that we basically have to have Diaz in the back four. However, I do think Stones has a little bit of that in him as well, where if Stones is in the back four, I think other players feel comfortable when Stones is there. I think Akanji got better in that second half when Stones was on, and so was Núñez. So for me, I just think, I know we can't always do it through injuries, but we've got to try our best to keep Stones or Diaz in the side, because when one of them in the side, I think they make everybody around them more confident and more relaxed. And I think the greatest evidence you saw of that, and I'll throw this out to Jay, was Nunes, because as soon as Stones come on, Nunes was fucking bombing it everywhere, man.
It was. I think you could tell the difference straight away. The whole way we played from the back four into the midfielders and everything changed when Stones came on. We kept possession so much better, but it wouldn't surprise me even if Pep had kind of had a word with Nunes, knowing that he was playing against Khusanov and it was his first game, to kind of hold back that little bit more, make sure that they were tight as a unit. And then obviously Nunes, once Stones has come on, really started to fucking open his legs then, didn't he? And get up that line. Again, it does come with confidence. It makes a massive difference to these players knowing who they're lining up against. And I think the back four has been so it's chopped and changed so many times over the last few weeks that when people aren't playing against the same person week in, week out, it's gonna cause a bit of uncertainty, isn't it, in the play? But with the likes of Stones, with the likes of Diaz, who've got years and years of experience at the very top level, it just brings a calmness to the whole team, defending and on the ball as well. So yeah, it was good to see Stonesy back, man, and I just pray that he can stay fit, because he'll make a massive difference for us for the next couple of months for sure.
I won't be holding my breath on Stones' fitness.
I know, but we've got to believe, man. We've got to pray.
No, I can't. I'm sorry, I can't believe it. He's going to be. I think he'll play against Bruges midweek. I think he'll have to come in because we've no Diaz. Like you say, we need that sort of defensive solidity. LB, I think you're muted again. I think that it's going to be. I think it's going to be. I think he's going to get 45 minutes, maybe 60, and then out for 2 weeks. I think this is just a cycle that we're in with John Stones.
We can't predict injuries though.
No, but I think with John Stones we can. I think we're at that point. We're at that point with his career.
It's not like factual though. That's something that he's definitely going to happen.
It is. He's got that. I can't remember the name of the injury that it is, but it's plantar something or other. It's like some kind of thing where the bit where his heel meets his ankle or something like that. It's just
plantar fasciitis or something.
Yeah. His foot is fucked. Like he cannot play more than.
If he's fit now, I'm taking it at face value, man. If Stones is fit right now, then my plans going forward are with him in the team, right? So if we take it as Stones is fit currently, we've got a plan with him in the team going forward, man, because he's so important to the.
We just need one of them in the team. I'd actually go so far as to say I wouldn't play them both in the same game, unless it's like a cup final or like a big fucking game.
So that one of them's rested while the other one plays.
So you've got one of them, because I genuinely believe, if you've got one of them, I think you're all right with it. I just think that like Akanji is for example, if you look at the first goal, right, and obviously, yes, the ball's there to be won. I've seen people criticising Akanji. I think it's a bit harsh. However, there is some validity in it, in that when that ball's up in the air and Khusanov's looking at it and Akanji's looking at it, I said it in the stream that I just done. If that's Stones or Diaz, I think they go and fucking clear that ball. But Akanji's just like, oh, go on, Khusanov, you deal with it. And I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying.
I don't understand.
Yeah, and I don't blame him. I just think that like he's not a leader. He's not a leader. He's not an aggressor. He's not an aggressor, and that you saw that against Brentford for the second.
Is it Rio Ferdinand who said that there's two? Like you've got A defenders and B defenders. Like, and he was always that Ferdinand saw himself as like a B to Vidic's A. Like the ones. Yeah. So the B's the ones who are decent at being like the partner to the A's. And Akanji is definitely a B to whether it be Diaz or Stones or whatever.
It's not a criticism.
And when Diaz came in 2020, he automatically became the A defender.
Yeah,
because the partnership with him and Stones was so damn good. It didn't matter about seniority at the club or any sort of hierarchy based on game time. It was like he came in because he wanted to be the best defender there and be the leader.
Yeah,
I think Sai has a point. He was Nunes was good against Ipswich when Diaz was there. He completely fell apart against PSG when Diaz came off. And then he got it together when Stones came on. So again, I think you just need one of them too. You know, when he's playing adjacent to Akanji or adjacent to Khusanov who's making a debut, it's just hard for him. Because again, I think he's one of them B players who needs a leader next to him. It's not just a centre back thing.
Well, he's
So
out of position as well, isn't he, Danny? So he probably wants someone yapping in his ear saying, tell me where to go. Where am I meant to be next year? Am I meant to
Akanji
be...
doesn't strike me as that guy, man. I think he's one of those players that concentrates on his own job, innit?
Yeah.
But he doesn't really communicate that much with his back four. And like, as long as he's doing his own little thing, then he's not really bothered about what's going on. This is why I feel like quite a lot of players are having so much success trying to run in behind Akanji at the moment, because if they're coming from the left or the right, as long as Akanji's got this little space around him and he feels calm, he's not seeing these runs that people are making him behind him. So yeah, he needs to really fucking up his game, really. And get a part of a good solid system. All the best back fours in the country are the same four players that play as a line and as a unit. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like the last few weeks it's been quite a lot of individuals just trying to play their own game rather than us as a full back four unit. So yeah, he needs to really fucking look at himself, Akanji, at the moment, because it's happened a couple of weeks now where he's actually like pissed me off some of the stuff that he's done.
Interestingly on Akanji, apparently he's a Swiss footballer and speaks German, Italian, English, and French. So really, he should have been an ideal partner for Khusanov today, with being able to speak a bit of French. But evidently that's not worked out. But yeah, it's just I just think he's, as we've said, he's not a leader. He's someone who, as you just said there, Jay, he can concentrate on his own game and do his own thing. And I actually really want to see him at right back once we get all our defenders fit again. I think he's our best.
Yeah, because
right
you can
back
do it there, can't you? As long as you mark your man 1-to-1, defend 1-to-1 against your man, he can do that, can't he? He can think about what his job is solely, stopping that guy from going past him, and even having a bit of a run up front like he did against PSG. Like he has got that in him as well. But yeah, he's not filling me with much confidence at all every time he's in that centre back position at the moment. And
because he's not with Diaz and he's not with Stones.
He got away with one on Wednesday that was like just about offside, which I don't have a fucking clue what he was doing or thinking, but he just completely stopped playing. So the quicker we get the centre back sorted, the better. So then we can kind of push Akanji out there where he's probably more effective, I think.
There is also the fact with Akanji, and this is kind of just a problem that most of our squad has, is that I'm pretty sure Akanji is playing at like 60% fitness at the moment. Like I think a lot. Yeah. I think he got rushed back from his most recent injury and has pretty much been a mainstay in the defense ever since then, because we have we don't have the fit defenders to rotate him out. Yeah. So I think we're in a position where as much as there are sort of like mental switch offs that have happened in recent weeks, I think the realistic thing is that he's just physically probably not able to be at 100% no matter what, because like he can look better if he has an organizer next to him, but ultimately, like physically, he's just not 100% on it, and that's kind of.
This is why the new signings come in, because again, it's not necessarily for them to be starting week in, week out. It's to give these players a rest. Eventually, when Ake comes back in, you might be able to put Ake left back for just a couple of games, while then you can rest Gavardiol, you can play Diaz, Stones, Akanji, Khusanov, Vita, and it's going to give us the ability to rest players, because we really need to rest like Gavardiol, because he's slamming at the moment, and he had a great game today, man of the match clearly, but he is being overworked. The sports scientists at the City Stadium must be going absolutely insane.
We'll be living in a red zone, won't we?
Bro, he's like, it's in the red zone. Gavardiol's in the red zone. He's going to get a hamstring any minute, right? But he's like, I can't fucking do anything unless you want me to play Wilson Esbrand. You know what I mean? Which is not going to happen. So that's why these signings are so important. But listen, go on. It was that.
Just a couple of things. It was like, I think this is the reason why with Khusanov and Hayes is the reason why we got them, is because unlike if we say try to sign a Mark Gahey from Crystal Palace, I'm just using him as an example. Yeah, sure, he'd come in and get good game time to rotate the current defenders that we have at the moment. But in 6 to 12 months' time, if they're back playing fully fit and ready to go again, he's going to start complaining about his game time. So bringing these young defenders in who we hope to keep for a long, long time at this club, they're not going to complain about their game time, because this is all a learning curve. This is a learning experience for them. And this is a long-term plan that we have with these defenders, in the hope that they're going to stay here for a long time. So they know their position in the club. They know the hierarchy. And they know the seniority. They'll take every bit of game time that they can, and everything that they do from now until when they start becoming first choice defenders and that. This is all developmental for them. It's all going to take time. And just another thing I needed to add as well too, Gavardiol, now the highest scoring defender in the Premier League. We need to change that. We need to change that man's name to Gavar 9. because he is an absolute.
Yeah.
Well, he should have an hat
Classmate.
trick, bro. He should have an hat
One
trick
of our-
today.
Oh god, yeah.
Do you know what? I was
Well, that's
actually
what
really
Gavar9's in the
surprised.
chat. Everybody, Gavar9.
He's usually one of our best finishers, and usually that cutback, his
He'd have
first
had
time,
that. Yeah.
cutback onto his right foot, that's usually money for him, and then he usually
Yeah.
puts it in with his right.
I was so
foot.
convinced
really
that was in.
surprised he missed it.
Yeah, the moment he actually did the cutback and he had it on his
I thought
right
it
foot,
was-
I was like goal. Like this is
It's
is
usually
done. And
cash
then-
money
yeah.
in it when Guardiola cuts
Yeah.
in on his right foot. So
Yeah,
I
that's
was
his
really
move right
I
surprised.
just changed my name too.
Let me.
I
I want to speak about Phil Foden,
Roberto
guys.
Gavalos.
I want to speak about Phil Foden, guys, because he's had a bit of a mad year. He started off obviously pretty slowly. Then he was out injured. No one really knew where he was. He was playing some games, but was not really on the pitch. Really, was he? Was a bit of a ghost. However, now in 2025, this guy's been cooking on gas. I've got to say, I said it before. I'm going to repeat it again. I want to get your guys' take though. Not only obviously the goal, but the defensive shift that this guy put in the second half. He was sprinting everywhere to put tackles in, blocks in, getting himself back in position so he didn't leave the likes of Nunes exposed. I thought it was a brilliant performance from Phil Foden. Might be his best performance in a City shirt, especially off the ball. But I just wanted to get your guys' takes on Foden because it's been a tough year for him, man. But he seems to have turned a corner, lads.
I think we're pretty close, I think, to having 23, 24 Foden back at this point. Like, I think we're at the point now. Obviously, whatever he had at the start of the season, whether it was like a physical problem or a mental problem or whatever, it seemed to just be a problem. Like where it had a hangover basically of that for a good couple of months, really, maybe even like 2 or 3 months to be honest. But I think we're at the point now where he's got the confidence back in his game, which is more important. Because obviously he's never had the technical abilities, never not been there. Like Foden's just like a ridiculously technical footballer who's just probably the best English footballer on a technical level that we have at the moment. But I just think it's been whatever it has been a bit more of like a mental barrier that he's had to overcome. And I think the goals and assists that he's been getting, as you just showed up there in the last month or so, has kind of helped him be a bit more, like that goal, like the goal today, for example. I think Phil Foden, if he gets that chance in September, he's binned that. I think he had a couple. I'm sure he had a couple of chances that were similar, or a couple of opportunities in and around the sort of first 2 or 3 months of the season where I was looking at it thinking like Foden scores this last season. Like these are there were moments like that, and I think that today sort of him going through and taking that chance on as he did. As much as Sanchez is Sanchez is an absolutely fucking ridiculously bad keeper, probably made it very easy for him. I think that Foden, him taking that on, said to me that like he's back or as close to back as I think we can really ask for.
Do you think
that's
you know what I think gives him the confidence though is when the confidence is put in him as well, man. He's been given the reins today, and he absolutely like rose to the occasion. He's been given that kind of free rein in behind Marmoush and Haaland. It was for most of the time. It was kind of they were lined up as a front two with Foden kind of in behind them on the ball. And we speak about this all the time about how effective Foden is when he's picking up the balls in those central positions. He was and spinning like on the edge of the box. He had his shot in the first half that walloped off the post, won it. Picking up the ball, spinning and banging a shot away. This is when Phil Foden is at his best. And the guy was back today because he'd been given that kind of free license to go and be himself, man, to pop up in spaces, pick up the ball, drive at players. And I think with that confidence to be able to do that, then comes the other side of the game as well, that he really wants to work for the team, not being stuck out on the right-hand side where he's got to kind of stick to this rigid plan. You've got to let Foden be Foden at the end of the day if you want the best from him. And I think that's why we're seeing the best from him today.
Look, when a couple of months ago we were seriously malfunctioning right as a team, and nobody was playing well. There was literally, was it Nunes, our best player of the month or whatever? He was absolutely bang average as well. So I think a lot of it comes down to he's confident again. He's got a bit of consistency, and the team's actually playing better. There's a bit more structure now, and players. We're not just getting to the point where we're fielding just 11 fit players, no matter how much form you're in. There's probably times in that when he's played with an injury and just been absolutely run into the ground. So seeing a bit more consistency. We're seeing a bit more free flowing in the way we play and a bit more structure. And I think that's probably what's helping him because a lot of the time we've been really poor, and he's as good as he is. He's not going to be able to do anything much on his own. So the fact that now we've got new players in, new impetus, we've got more fitness coming back into key areas. I think that's helping massively too.
Yeah, I think Foden gone. I think Foden plays well when he only has to do his own job. Against PSG, of course, the midfield was bad. And I don't know. I thought that was one of his more quiet performances of the season. I sort of found myself saying, release the ball quicker, release the ball quicker. I don't know. He was trying to take on the whole team himself against PSG. And today, he played more direct. He kept it more simple. And I think that's when he's at his best. Turn and shoot, like Pep says. And that's what we saw today.
Yeah. Don't think about it again. They're in the positions where you can do some damage, and then that's it.
It was just. I thought off the ball, and that second half, mate, he was just running everywhere, sprinting around the gaff, putting challenges. I don't know if you've seen it in the ground, Jay, but like there was one point in the second half where like he sprinted back and he put some sort of like block or challenging just on the edge of our box, or it might have just been inside our box.
I did
and he was that knackered that he just lay there, didn't he? He was just like, I'm fucking knackered here because he's been sprinting around. But listen, he's got 7 GA now in his last 4 Premier League games. He's starting to cook now, and I think you're right, Jay. For me, I think Foden's a player that like he needs to feel like he's the fucking guy
like
for me.
He's the man,
He's the man, and this is why I always say when his media company put that picture up of him and Mbappe a few years ago and deleted it, I'm like, nah, he needs that kind of shit, Foden. I think he needs that sort of like, you're challenging Mbappe. Yeah, you're not challenging these other shitbags. Like you're meant to be like the guy, man. And I feel like I don't know what's happened this year, but there definitely seems to be life back in there. He's sprinting around a lot more. He's affecting games, and he's obviously going to be crucial. But yeah, it was nice to see, man. Because to be honest with you, lads, like early on in the season, it wasn't nice, man. It wasn't nice. It was like watching him, and I was like, "Oh, what's going on?" He
wanted himself, was he?
Yeah, it was like, what the fuck? This ain't Foden, man. You know what I mean?
It was really annoying.
He's been filling in doing jobs that he shouldn't be doing, and we know that that's not his best position. Like he did in the summer as well for England. Like they're trying to fit a square peg into a round hole with Foden, aren't they? You've just got to let the guy flourish, man, and do what he does best. Otherwise,
I think that probably knocked his confidence a bit at the start of the season because he would only have a couple of weeks off.
Because he'd been stuck out on the left wing for England all summer as well, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And we all know deep down he's shown Palmer levels today. Do you know what I mean? I think he's better than Bellingham as well on his day. So
100%. Yeah.
As long as
he is on his day.
With him, then he can carry on being the guy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're looking for these external solutions to some of the problems we've got next year, and we've probably got the guy right in front of us. We're looking at Wirtz, we're looking at Musiala. There's a perfect replacement to pick up the reins off KDB and be the main man going forward, and it could be Phil Foden, man, as long as the confidence is put into him.
Yeah. I think I think he definitely is the guy to sort of pick up the KDB reigns, to be honest. I think you still need to sign someone else, because what KDB can do creatively is like levels above what even Foden can do. I think it's just KDB's a freak in that instance, so you need to find someone else who can do sort of like similar, maybe someone who, because what KDB can do so well is the creative stuff, but also be a massive goal threat. Whereas I think if you've got Foden who can be the goal threat, just focus on getting someone who just puts chances on the plate for people. I think that Foden can definitely sort of take some of that weight off. The sort of the. I mean, we saw it last season, didn't we? Like KDB was out for a good chunk of that season, but how much did we notice it? Because Phil was out there doing it every week.
Phil carried us.
Then this is kind of why I'm not. Obviously I want to see us sign someone big when Kev goes, but I'm not like scared of like a horrendous transition of when Kev goes to, the new guy bedding in, because I think Foden will be there no matter what, just doing it. Yeah. It's also very funny that despite having basically taken the first half of the season off, Foden's already got more goals in the league than Golden Boy Saka, and it's mad. That it just shows like it shows the levels that Foden shows the levels that sort of Foden as an English player has, and it's crazy that he's not more involved. I'm not bothered because I don't really care if City players do well for England or not.
Weird. It's so weird. Like Palmer's dropped a stinker for about 5 games in a row now, and you'll still hear idiots on the radio and all over Sky and stuff saying, "Oh, Palmer's the best centre attacking mid in the world" and all this, and they're still up his arse when he's done nothing for weeks. Whereas Foden can have 1 or 2 bad games, and I'll hear Foden's washed, Foden's this, Foden's that, and the difference between the stick that he gets compared to Palmer's just wild to me. I have no idea where it comes
they were all
from.
desperate for this first half of the season that Foden's had where he's not been good. Bearing in mind he's coming off the back of being bearing in mind he's coming off the back of being the PFA Player of the Year. Like everyone was gagging for Foden to have a few months like that. They were all begging for it just for him to be like, oh look, he's like I mean everyone throws the word
told you so stuff in it.
Yeah,
they thought he was that sort of stuff. Yeah,
they throw the phrase like system player at him, don't they? As if
can't go without pep and stuff like that.
Yeah, as if it's a bad thing to be really good in a system. Like I don't understand it, but yeah, I think it's the Euros followed by the sort of first few months of the season have given a lot of people who would like Foden to fail to think that he has, but if he has a second half of the season that's anything like what it's looking like at the moment, if he continues this for the rest of the season, then I think there'll be no doubt left. Yeah.
He's gonna be cooking on gas, man.
He needs Bellingham's PR manager, doesn't he? And he'll be the next face of fucking Rolls Royce and Rolex and everything. If he has it, rather than doing his fishing videos and his
I know. Yeah,
he needs to get rid of the eyebrow slit, and then he can do that. I think that's holding him back.
Let me listen. I want to speak about Mamouche. I'm going to start off with Pat because I know you've got a dip for your working soon, bro. Mamouche makes his debut today. First of all, was you surprised to see him start? And your thoughts on his game, bro? Played 74 minutes before being subbed off.
No. If this had happened in previous years, maybe I would have been surprised. But given injuries and just the fact that there's no reason to bench this guy just because he's at a new club, let's hope his Bundesliga form can translate into here at Manchester City. But he hit the ground running. He looked sprightly. He looked like he was, he was looking for gaps. He was looking for, to receive the ball every opportunity he got. His link-up play with Gvardiol was absolutely exceptional. Like, Madueke wanted nothing to do with him. He left Reece James all on his own, basically, for most of the game. And, Reece James is meant to be one of the best right-backs in the league in that. And he just looked all at sea because Mamouche was just running rings around him. A great performance. It's a shame he didn't get it on the score sheet, obviously. But if the guy's going to have the wind at his back now with that, with that sort of performance straight off the bat, your first time in a sky blue shirt. So, I mean, geez, if this guy could put the sort of goals and assist numbers up he did at Eintracht Frankfurt, then, we're looking for a really, really strong end of the season. So a really good debut, something we'll look at, in the future. And let the guy cook because he looks like he's going to be something really, really special for us.
Yeah, I tell you what, with Mamouche, I was really, really impressed with his off-the-ball work. He was making all these different kinds of runs, on the outside, through the middle.
Positionally, he was really sound.
Even on the offside goal, he came in and tucked away the rebound, which I don't see a lot, even though he was offside. And then another thing that caught my eye, middle of the second half, Gvardiol got caught out of position. He came back and won the ball back. He just looked like he was trying to prove a point, and that's more of what we need. When these signings come in, they need to come in, they need to say, you know what, I deserve to be here, and this is why I deserve to be here. And I think Mamouche did just that.
Bro, did you watch I can't remember when I spoke. It was either yesterday or the day before. I spoke about on one of my streams. I don't know if he was in it. I know you've been ill. But I spoke about his interview. And I was watching the other night. I was in bed here. I was on my phone. I thought, oh, you know what? I'm not watching any interview. So I watched Abdelkader's interview, Vita Hayes' interview, and I watched the fucking Mamouche's interview. And Mamouche was sat, I mean, they all were, to be fair, but Mamouche was there, right, in the interview. Okay. And he's like, I'm the fucking guy. I'm mint. And then the guy was like, what are you good at? He was like, I'm good at skills. I'm rapid. I score goals. And I was just like, yes, that is what you need to be at Manchester City. And some people will see it as arrogance, right? But if you don't have that, the environment will swallow you up and you will just fade away and you will sink. If you're at a club like City or Bayern Munich or Real Madrid, a club that's trying to win titles or win Champions Leagues, if you do not believe that you're good enough to be there, not only good enough to be there, but be one of the best players, you won't fucking make it, mate, because you won't back yourself. You won't back yourself. And when I was watching that interview, I was just like, you're going to fucking smash it here. I know for a fact you're going to smash it. Because
and you can tell by the way he played as well.
Yeah,
and it's good. Sorry, just quickly, I was just saying before I go to it. So it's good for players to have an ego, but as long as you don't let that ego define your career, then you're going to be a very, very successful footballer.
Yeah, spot on. Controlled egos are good, and especially if
anyway, gentlemen, I got to go. Unfortunately, I have to go to work. But
no worries, bro.
Big up to yourselves. Big up to everybody in the chat, and also any Aussies in the chat. Happy Australia Day as well too. So enjoy. Don't get up to too much trouble. But yep, we'll see you on the flip side.
See you in a bit, bro. Have a good
later, guys.
But yeah,
he
if
was
this guy
class.
is going to be the De Bruyne replacement, he needs to have a bit of swagger, a bit of arrogance. He can't just
Wanted the ball, didn't he? Constantly.
Yeah.
That's what I like, man. Do you know what? We was talking on Wednesday about the PSG game, and I'd said that players had gone hiding in that game. There wasn't people that wanted to get on the ball in these high-pressure situations. And Marmoush today was constantly wanting to get on the ball, whether he was coming deep for it, whether he was trying to run in behind. He was screaming. There was a lot of times where he didn't actually receive the ball when he was making runs, and he's screaming for the ball for him to be played over the top. So just for him to have the confidence to come in and play like that first game, obviously comes from similar to the things that you just said, LB, that he'd said in his interview. You could tell that he's got that bit about him just from looking at him today, and his ability to just demand the ball. So yeah, he showed really, really good signs, and he was on the edge of scoring a few times, man. Like the offside, obviously the one. There was two.
He was a bit eager. I think that's probably just a little bit of eagerness.
It was just that one that he kind of slashed that, wasn't they, where he'd opened up a space. He's in the centre of goal. I think if he just manages to keep his composure and kind of guide that into the corner rather than trying to take the back of the net off,
I think he
probably gets his goal, doesn't he? But
I thought he should have passed it there personally, but. Again,
I think that looking at the, I thought that initially, but then looking at the replay, I think the actual window for him to pass that to Foden was like it gone like that. It was like
I agree.
The actual,
I agree.
It looked really obvious, and before you saw the replay, because I think his options were immediately release it first touch when he's probably not necessarily aware that he's there, or you have to play a shit pass behind Foden that just probably just kills the attack. But I'm not that, maybe with time that becomes second nature. Just play that pass through first time, no problem, because he'll know Foden's there. But I just think what he needs to, and obviously this may be something that he already has locked down normally, and it could just be eagerness, like you say, LB. But I think he needs to just know that because he has that pace, you don't have to make the run so early. That's why Haaland's like so good. Because he knows that he has the pace and ability he can give the defender a head start, and he's fine because he's faster than every defender on the planet except for maybe Van der Ven, but
especially Chalobah.
R.I.P. Van der Ven. Yeah, I think that he's. I think that the thing is that Marmoush needs to, especially with his agility as well. I think someone's pointed out a couple of. I saw a highlight of what he did today, where he literally goes from like standing to sprinting in like ridiculous time. Like there is no power up. It's just standing start to full pelt sprint like that. And I just feel like you can, when you've got that ability, you don't need to run early. You don't need to take the early run. You can just sort of leave it to, and he scored a lot of goals for Frankfurt. So maybe on a normal day, that's exactly what he's good at and what he does. And maybe today it is just a bit of, like you say, the eagerness to sort of impress on his debut, get that first goal in. But fingers crossed that if that's maybe a thing that, if he's always quite regularly offside, maybe playing with Haaland can teach him that you don't necessarily have to. You can give the defenders an extra yard because you've got the pace. You don't need to try and make the run a second too early.
No, it gives us something that we've not got a lot of at the minute, and that's somebody who's just willing to have a go. If you look at the players we have, Foden had the shot today, the post and stuff. But if you look across the midfield, we've got Gundogan and Kovacic and Bernardo. They ain't got a shot in them from outside the area. De Bruyne usually is reluctant to do that unless he's in a real good scoring chance. Usually the guy that's putting the cross in, and then we've got Fabio, who has he really took much on out of the box? Really doesn't. So having Marmoush, who's going to get the ball in the edge of the box, and his first thing is to, can I get a shot in here? It doesn't matter how far I am, what I'm doing. He will. That's something we haven't got, and that's something that's.
We don't have enough players to do that. Do we?
You have some predictability to have going forward, because a lot of the players have been coached to possession.
Walk it in the net. Yeah.
He hasn't yet. And it'll probably come out of him in the end. But if he's willing to, I'll get the ball in the 18-yard box. The first free kick we got today, he was like, I'm having that. You know what I mean? So.
I agree. I just think sometimes you just have to fucking shoot, and I noticed that in that St. Pauli Frankfurt game that I did, and I think maybe Danny, did you watch that game, that Frankfurt Pauli game or not?
Surprisingly, I did not.
Oh, did you not? So I did a watch along of it. His last game before, or maybe his second to last game before he left. And something that I noticed that he just like the guy just shoots all the time, but like he doesn't shoot in like stupid areas. He'll shoot when it's on, but like if he gets a chance to shoot, he's shooting. He's not something that I always see sometimes, just in football generally, but a lot of our players do it. But this is just a general football. Is a player will get a chance and they'll try and improve like the XG of the chance by like cutting inside or something.
Yeah.
But at this level, you can't do that at this
Gotta get
level
your shot
because
away, yeah.
by that time the chance is gone. You've got to get your shot, and he's just like he's not bothered. He's not trying to do no cut inside, open up the angle to make. He's just like if he's in front of the net, he's fucking shooting. And I've seen that against Frankfurt, and I'm like, yo, this guy, man, is gonna be a baller. His energy, he's running around. I think in the second half, he got a little bit sort of quietness on that left-hand side. I think he's a bit better for me when he's a little bit more infield. Obviously, at Frankfurt, he played as a striker. But, you know, something that we've got now, we've got actual competition for places.
Yeah.
I agree, yeah.
Like, we've not had that, like, pretty much all season.
Like,
Now
Savio was undroppable a few weeks ago now.
Exactly.
And now you're talking about him not getting
Yeah.
in the team.
Imagine 2 or 3 weeks ago, we said, maybe after that West Ham or whatever, we said, Savio, he's benched for Chelsea. You'd be like, you what? He's not being benched.
Yeah, how have you done that? What's gone wrong there for him to not play? But
Yeah.
Exactly. Doku, it was obviously he had a good game against Salford. Like he was looking decent. Then he's obviously injured, but when he comes back, he's got to fight for his spot. Like I actually like having this situation now where like if you don't play well, you can hold bench mate because there's someone else now there, and I feel like we've not had that really this season.
And then you're bringing them hungry players off the bench then to change the game. We've got game changers now coming off the bench. Man, usually we've been at a bare 11 and sometimes you can't even be asked bringing some of the ones on the pitch, can't you? Because they're not going to change it enough. Whereas if Savio thinks that he's not going to be getting enough game time, or Doku, or those similar ilk of players, they need to come on now and make an impact in the games that they do get a chance in. So, yeah, competition is healthy going forward. So, it's gonna be good.
Another big thing about
promising.
Another big thing about Marmoush as well is that he was in the box. You know, when someone else is like making a run towards the box, he's in there. He's one of the players who's like ready to be on the end of a chance if something comes in
and jump on the rebounds and stuff.
I think what we've missed quite a bit is somebody who isn't Haaland that will do that. I mean, the number of times where we've got into a position where like it's just Haaland in there.
Exactly.
And, like, if you don't find Haaland with a perfect cross, it's going nowhere. It's going back out the area again. I think having another player in the box who is willing to sort of rush the box, give defenders another person to think about is massive because, and obviously the fact that he's likely to score them as well based on his goal scoring record. I think that's just huge because it means that
he wants to break the lines as well. You saw straight away. He's like, when we get a bit of build up on the box, he'll start hovering around that 18-yard box outside the 18-yard box area, and he's just like, I'm going to find over somebody's shoulder. I'm going, and he just he stood there with his arms up saying, I'm here. And Guardiola, to be fair, in the first half, Guardiola had loads of chances like that. And it would be good to see us actually take advantage of that now. We've got somebody who would run in behind. And if the ball's good, you know, then we've bypassed 5 minutes of build-up play to get a direct shot on goal. And I think that's what we need. We need that unpredictability about which
so many options, weren't there? Like, we don't need to pass sideways anymore with these forward options, trying to make these runs behind. I think Guardiola playing in that role high and wide makes our team so much better. Just having him high and wide spreading the pitch creates so much space for
I bet he's not a centre back. I don't know why people think he's a centre back. Like since
Alan
he's joined
was telling all us for months he's a centre back. He's not.
Since he's joined Manchester City, he's not been a centre back. He's absolutely now at this point a full back, and he's one of the best full backs in the world. Like
better, just by being, even if he's not even receiving the ball, just by being a threat, man, he creates so much space for everyone else.
You just know there's somebody on the left. Somebody stood there on the left wing who's supposed to be a left back, but he's playing left wing and has scored the second most amount of goals for City. It's like you can't ignore him. You can't ignore him. Yeah.
People tried to get rid of him a couple of weeks ago, saying he's not good enough.
No, that's not bad. It's been quite a unique situation because if you look at his frame, he's a centre back. The frame is 6 foot odd. He's quite a stocky guy. He's broad shoulders. He's not like mad quick off the line. Like he's everything that a centre back should be. But for some reason, he just works. Yeah. He just works up there. And you know, I think honestly, if we can get Gvardiol, Marmoush, KDB, and Haaland as a 4 on that left hand side, like sort of KDB just floating in the middle. You got Marmoush a bit higher but more infield, and you've got I think that sort of 4, especially the 3 with sort of like Marmoush, KDB, and Gvardiol. I think that could really, really work. But Gvardiol today was my only concern, as I've said many times, is that he's going to get injured. Because
overplayed,
injury at some point.
Just overplayed.
Last thing on Last thing on Marmoush quickly is just that it's a shame that he came off for KDB, because I think that it would have been nice to see De Bruyne be the guy trying to play those balls through to him. Like if we'd have had someone like with KDB's passing range and ability to find some, because obviously one of the main things was like, it was a bit like when we saw Haaland first join us, where you were watching Haaland make all these sick runs and you were just like, why is no one like trying to find him? And it was the same with Marmoush today, where you can see him immediately as soon as someone's in the midfield with like some space ahead of him. He's like, right, I'm in this position now on the defender's shoulder. Like, give me the ball, and like it just wasn't happening for him. And I think that De Bruyne is, if there's any player in our team who's going to be the guy to find those runs, as Haaland has found out, it's De Bruyne in it. So hopefully over the next week or two, hopefully against Arsenal, we'll see Marmoush and KDB on the pitch together, and hopefully that'll make us a bit more. That'll see. I mean, I think personally, if KDB and Marmoush are on the same pitch together, then Marmoush scores goals. I think it's just as simple as that.
Yeah. I think that's the problem. It's a good problem to have, but for Pep going forward, it's how you get Marmoush and KDB and Foden all on the pitch in these central areas where we know they're the most dangerous. Don't get me wrong, like we're spoilt for choice, really, aren't we? Because we know what they can all do. But someone's going to have to hold bench out of them three. I think if they all get in the same team. I
think if you have those three behind Haaland, and then you've got two of, say, Gundogan and Kovacic, and look, there's some shit combinations of the three there that you can put behind them. Mm-hmm. But I think that in some games you can just put two of those players there. And if you want to be really attacking, like, if we played against Ipswich or something, you can just have KDB as like the third midfielder. Then you've got Foden one wing, Marmoush the other, Haaland up front. But I know what you mean in terms of like a game like today or Arsenal. Yeah, really, you want to have all three of. As much as this is kind of depressing that this is our midfield that we have to put out against these teams, you've got to have all three of Bernardo, Kovacic, Gundogan, and Kovacic.
Well, that's only a temporary solution until the club actually decides to buy a fucking midfielder.
Yeah,
right?
If we get a good midfielder who can mean that we are able to legitimately rest one of those players, or a holding mid who means that we can play that holding mid plus maybe Bernardo or Gundogan and KDB and not look like a shit show, then hopefully that means that we can have KDB, Foden, Marmoush and Haaland on the pitch at the same time, and it doesn't look like a total disaster. But I think if we currently don't have a midfielder and it potentially looks like we might not sign a midfielder, then we're going to have to look at the idea of we're going to have to just sort of accept that, like as you say, one of them is going to have to just sit on the bench, because realistically in these big games you probably can't afford to play just two of them plus KDB.
No, I agree. At this moment in time, with the current squad, if we don't get a midfielder, which is poor, but say we don't get, you're going to have to play all three of them. And then, but that's my challenge as a manager would be then, show me you deserve to play.
Yeah.
I'll say, bro.
Exactly. They've got to step up now. It's been too easy for people to start the last few months, hasn't it?
They've been picked because of injuries. Yeah. Oh, you have to play because there's no one else here to play. Fucking
now people need to fight for the place and show.
Now people need to fight. Options. You want to play, you've got to be good. You don't want it. If you're shit, no problem. I'll bring on the next guy. If he's shit, I'll bring on the next guy. And by the way, Bob's back next month. He can fucking come in as well. And this is what we need, man. I've seen too many City fans saying, "Oh, but LB, like, we bring this guy into the squad, then we're gonna have too many players." I want more players, because I tell you what, I'd rather have more players than not enough. Because when you've not got enough, it fucks you big time, and that's what's happened to us this season.
How long have we been complaining about the size of our squad? Like, we do want more players. That's the point. Like, we've been in a position for the last year and a half, I'd say. I mean, obviously it wasn't a problem last season because we won the league ultimately, but for the last year and a half, we've had a tiny squad. Like our midfield, like even last season, we were looking at the midfield thinking, God, if one of these guys goes down injured, like we've got very little to replace him, and we didn't really do anything to address that apart from bring back a 34-year-old Gundogan for this season. So we need more people who can come in, and if that means that we do have. If we're going to have to go into a situation where we have Savio, Doku, Bob, and Grealish all sat on the bench ready to come on, then, cool. Like, they're all going to have to up it in training and or on the pitch to get on the pitch. And that's what made us so successful in the treble season, every other year we've won the league under Pep, is the fact that everyone's known there are 2 or 3 world-class players behind them who are willing to take their spot if they fuck up, and that's what leads to...
Bowden bench Champions League final. That's what you need.
Walker, prime Walker bench to the Champions League final. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that's what you want, though, isn't it? You want your manager to be making. I need Pep to be sitting there on a Friday night going, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do because I don't know who to play. Whereas he's not been doing that, has he? He's been like, well, he's got to play because he's got to play. It's just been like, he's probably been thinking, we're going to fuck it. He probably knows we're going to lose these games. He's probably thinking, this is shit, but I've got no other choice.
We've also got with the ability of Mamouche's ability to play down the middle as well. We've actually genuinely got somebody who could replace Haaland, and we haven't had that for a while. We've always been like, fucking hell, if something happens to Haaland, we have fucked because we know our style's changing.
Yeah.
Whereas what I saw today is I would happily take Mamouche down the middle if he's making those runs and just leaves a space where he is there now. Yeah. And I genuinely think that we've always been worried about Haaland can't play 75 games a season. Well, now we've got a reason to replace him with somebody who can actually give us something on the pitch that we've not.
That's where I saw him at Frankfurt as a striker, and he was fucking mint. We've
got Echeverri. I've just seen all the comments. We've got Echeverri coming in as well, haven't we?
I
know. I've seen the highlights from last night. My God, this guy's going to be something special.
Highlights, bro. Me and Danny was up there till 1:15 in the morning, bro, watching it. Fucking sick. Bro. Oh, Danny, man, talk to me about Echeverri last night, real quick.
Hey,
bro.
when I said in the chat that front four is really good, that's not what I meant. I didn't mean it that good. My God,
it's a madness. Out of the Echeverri, yeah. Obviously, listen, there's some proper boring people out there. Yes, we know it's only the under-20s. Yes, we know he's got to come to the Premier League and he'd probably take time to settle, yeah. But let's just get excited, bro. He just scored. He got 2 G&A. And by the way, yeah, why'd they try to rob that assist off him, by the way, Danny?
I don't know.
Because I've seen everyone this morning saying,
forcing an own goal. The guy was everywhere.
Was it an own goal? Yeah.
He gave us an own goal, yeah.
Why did it? Well, yeah, fuck that, man. Robbing an assist off him. It was a goal. But I mean, last night he was unreal, mate. Yeah, against Brazil, shit all over Brazil last night, man. He
scored a hat trick against them a couple of years ago as well. He fully owns them.
It's just nice that
Argentina, bro.
It's just nice that our squad now. If you add Echeverri to it as well, you've got Khusanov, you've got Hayes, you've got Echeverri, you've got Bob coming back in. We actually have now we're actually at a point where obviously you look at Gvardiol who's 22 as well, plays like that. We know that our squad's aging and we know the midfield is a combined 120 years old or whatever it is, but we've got we've got some serious young talent coming through.
The next generation's there, you can see it.
Yeah. And I'm really hoping that
in a long time we can see the progression is there for certain positions and certain players.
And I'm really hoping
that Echeverri, right? We all thought we sit and miss, right, coming from South America, and we was all kind of well, he might be good, he might not be, but when he's not really doing anything for us at the minute, but he's making headlines, and that's pissing people off. He's doing stuff. He's doing stuff, and he's nothing anything to do with us, and he's out there doing for his national team out of nowhere. And that's riling people.
You said it about Alvarez, didn't they?
He's just doing his shit, and he's not even touched the ball for City, and he's already boiling piss, isn't he?
Yeah.
They've done it again. They've got another regen from fucking all this.
I know, but honestly, man, Poppy, right? Mate, that Argentina fucking under-20s team is a joke. Danny, innit, folks?
I told you. Bro, it's ridiculous.
It's actually unbelievable. Bro, they're bringing that Mastan Tuono off the bench, bro.
I know. I've been watching my entire front four.
Let's just go sign the whole fucking Argentina under.
We just buy River Plate, bro. Honest, real. Buy River Plate, man. Their plays are unreal, man. Honestly, they're on again tomorrow. It's every 2 days, which is a bit mad, but I'm definitely gonna watch it.
Yeah, but the issue with River Plate is their squad is so big that I'm not sure the young guys are gonna go. They sign 5 players every window.
Yeah. Their squad.
In fact, in our case, I think we're one signing away from rivals coming out and saying, "Oh, they can field 2 full 11s again."
Yeah,
but weren't they? Were River Plate not? Because I remember when we signed Echeverri originally, River Plate there was kind of the feeling around River Plate at the time. At least I remember this being kind of reported when this signing got announced last year that River Plate was just going to go on. Well, fuck it then. We're not really going to give him that much serious game time because we know he's on the way out anyway.
He kind of dropped off a bit, didn't he, as well?
But he's too good that they've had to bring him back in, and he's just.
Also, they got a new manager in it, Danny, and also they've got actually so many players in that midfield area, bro. It's just genuinely unbelievable.
Well, their new manager is their old manager, Gallardo. But I know
Gallardo,
Oh, is he back now?
still loved him. Gallardo didn't really like him at the start.
Dimichelis fucking loved him, mate, and that's why
Yeah.
I was fucking saying get Martin Dimichelis back at Man City as our manager after River Plate, because the guy was doing all right according to the stats. But yeah, but now he looks like a player. That Acuna last night was a joker. But man, just keep your eyes out on the Argentina under 20 group, because they're just fucking unbelievable.
That Newell's team, man. They have Acuna, and then they have this like 17-year-old who I watched play DM the other day. He was getting stuck in. He was crunching players in half.
Who's that guy that Bournemouth have just bought, bro? The left back.
Julio Soler played for Lanús. He was very, very good. Played left
Bournemouth
back.
have just bought the Argentina under 20 left back.
Now Argentina 2030 World Cup. Easy money.
They're going to be good, yeah.
Subiabre, this fucking guy, man, this left winger for Argentina called Subiabre. He's a joker. He's fucking.
I think it's the one good thing about this sort of like the new like work permit stuff that's coming, because of, I think was it Brexit that changed the work permit stuff. Like the main good thing about that is that we can just get players, because obviously previously to that, getting players straight in from South America was a bit of a bitch, wasn't it? Like they had to, they couldn't come. You couldn't get them in without loads of really sort of like arbitrary sort of
about family
things.
members shit and being like in another country for 3 years and stuff. Yeah.
Whereas now now the Premier League is able to do what like La Liga, Portugal, all these other divisions have been able to do for ages.
They all treated the same.
Bring them straight in from.
It's done on a point system. It's done on a point system. If you go on Google and type in like Premier League points system for like.
Oh yeah, it's based on. Is it based on like international appearances and wages and stuff like that?
So you've got to hit this threshold, right? And you get credits for like, have they played for the first team in Argentina, or have they played for like the country? Is their country like a top 100 ranked fucking all this bullshit? And then like you've got to get to this like points. I don't know how many points. It's like 10 points or something, or like whatever. And you add up all the talent. If you get to the 10 points, then you're allowed. And that's how it works now. So
there you go. Yeah, that's better than the old system, because the old system, for whatever that was, just meant that we couldn't get anyone. It just meant that South Americans were a no-go. Yeah. Well, there you go.
And it's still as well, like he's still buying these players for pretty cheap. Like Echeverri was like 15 mil, something like that.
Yeah.
Like
my only problem with that, and this is what I was gonna say before, is that I just hope that obviously Echeverri's got. Presumably Echeverri is going to just be here till the end of the season, no matter what, unless we pull some like mad loan deal out on like deadline day. Which
he'll be here till the end of the season. Yeah,
but then I think, come the summer, I don't want it to end up being a case where he does get loaned out. And I'm really hoping that he's given some opportunities between now and the end of the season to show what he can do, so that we factor him into next season's squad, because like getting these players is mint, and I love it. It's part of like, but you know, buying these wonder kids who you learn about on Football Manager, and then knowing that your team actually buys them is so much fun. But we've done that so many times, and then just have the club like just loan them out, and then you never see him again, and we're sold on for like a little bit of a profit after a few years.
But to answer that though, Joe, I think that's probably because they're not good enough.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But I'm hoping that Echeverri is an exception.
I think for me, Echeverri,
guys are saying he's
for my opinion, I don't know what Danny thinks, right? I think Echeverri is either going to make it and be a star, or he'll be sold on. I don't see a world in which Echeverri comes, because he's a style of player. I don't see a world in which he comes and he's just a squad rotational player. He's either going to fucking light it up and be like a world superstar and be starting for us week in, week out, or he'll just not quite be good enough, or he'll get out muscled, and he just won't be good enough, and he'll get. I don't see it in between.
There's some weakness to his game that just doesn't take him.
We'll probably still make on him anyway, regardless, won't we? If it don't work out, so
yeah. It's all about the physicality. I mean, he got bullied a few times in senior football, and he also struggles to complete 90 minutes sometimes. But if he can build up his stamina, if he can build up a bit of muscle, I think he can make it.
He's only 18, 19, so I think he's got plenty of time
Send him to
develop
Pep's
anyway.
doctor in Barcelona, mate. He'll come back like
Make him train and watch Bernardo Silva, because he's what is he 5'5"?
Yeah.
David
Silva was the same as well.
He did that drag back today between two players and just got dropped his ass and got straight from around.
I always think when it's about physicality, it's how you use your body.
Yeah, it is.
And manipulate the ball. Rather than just how much you bench press or whatever. I just don't think it's
the same, right?
David Silva couldn't get the ball off him because he always had his body in between the defender and the ball.
You couldn't get the ball from the phone box, could you? He's mad.
Yeah. You've got so it's like say you see a guy coming from the side of you and challenging you. You've got to get your body in between the ball. So then if he touches you, you can go down and just get a free kick or whatever.
That's something you learn. David Silva was never always like that. He was when we signed him, he was like 21, 22 or whatever he was. He didn't always have that. He just developed it as you get used to the game, right? And I guess that's what something that Achivery's going to have to learn to do. But we've got the players around him to do it. So,
nah, facts.
So,
All right,
the
and guys,
best.
well, let's have a look at these last chats before we wrap up. Big up to you guys in the show as well. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Make sure you guys are smashing up the likes. Big up to LB. Says we need Gavardio backup. Maybe it's Cambiasso. Well, this is why Cambiasso makes perfect sense because the guy plays anywhere.
Yeah.
So if you bring him in, you've got a right back, you've got a centre back, you've got a left back, you've got a midfielder.
Yeah.
He's your Bernardo Silva of like the more defensive area. So
Pep's
it's just
wet dream, isn't he?
He is Pep's wet
a
dream.
utility man.
Bro, I think this deal gets done.
like a world-class Phil Neville, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Phil Neville
He
could
is.
play anywhere. He wasn't great, but
I don't like the comparison, but I do understand it.
Pep's going to
That
love
sort of
that,
player,
though,
right?
having a proper inverted fullback that he knows can drift into midfield in possession, and he's going to absolutely cream off that.
Mad
so.
two-footed, and he was subbed off today. I don't know if that's like something that's usually happens to Cambiasso at Juventus.
Haven't they just got? Didn't we find out that they've just got a fullback as well, or was they getting one from
Yeah,
Chelsea?
Vega, yeah.
So it looks like they're kind of putting things in place to cover him. So
I'm looking at it now. Yeah, this season, he's not been subbed off that many times. Like I'm looking at his starts. He's been subbed off once, or twice this season. He's only been subbed off twice this season.
Where are
one being
Juventus
today.
in the league? I don't know.
They're like fourth or something like that.
yeah, they're about 4. They don't lose, but they don't.
Well, they
win
lost
either.
today for the first time.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
They draw.
What
but won
about
the
Champions
games,
League?
though,
Are
don't
they not like that big mix in the middle? So they're going to get through, aren't they? I guess.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, they're fifth in Serie A. They're out the title race.
But it's one of
They're
them.
in the top-
So it's one of them. It's
four,
like if City come knocking and the project's there and the money's there, it's like,
Jeez.
do you
Yeah,
turn
but
it down?
the thing is
Do you-
with Cambiasso,
do you-
like,
Do you turn if you can be asking you get offered the chance? Do you turn it down, knowing full well that City need you? And you
no,
see man
no,
moves from-
and like, bro, if you're getting 60, 70 million quid for this guy, like, you're probably
that's
going to do it.
mad money.
aren't
I've
you?
said this the other day. Then it's mad money. These teams, right? These big teams across Europe, Juventus and Milan's and stuff like that, and these big teams in other leagues, they need money.
Yeah, well,
They
I checked,
need money.
I checked
They
yesterday.
don't want to be
Or the other
abilities,
day.
but they need money. They'll take the money.
They lost
They'll take the 70 million and
450 mil, bro.
buy 18 million out of the league that's doing all right and replace him, and hopefully it's just the way it is now. They need money. They can't.
Yeah.
They want
survive
that.
without it.
They want to get that Vega in from Chelsea, don't they? On loan, who's a left back.
Well, they've
So
already got
maybe
him.
that's.
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
done. I think it's done.
Yeah.
Oh, is it done? Oh, in that case,
Yes,
yeah.
done.
Well, I mean, I don't know what their left back situation's like in general, whether they genuinely need a backup regardless of Cambiasso or not. But that you
Kind
would
of
hope
sus,
that
though, isn't it?
you would hope that points to maybe they're expecting to lose somebody.
Yeah. Nah, defo.
If that was the case and we brought him in, mate, I'd be more than happy with that as like the solution to the midfield problem.
I'd love to play
And
Mr.
on
Hopkins
right back,
midfielder.
left back, anywhere. You know what I mean? We have someone, then, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We have
I
someone
don't.
who's versatile.
I'm not going to be negative today, but I thought fucking Mashtag was shit again today. I thought he was the only one.
Who's
That,
hashtag?
Kovacic, Mashtag Brady. I thought he was so poor again, man. He was doing my head in, and
I think
there
first
thinking-
15,
I'm
20
thinking,
minutes.
Like, come on, be positive. We're fine. But he just fucking dribbles into people all the time or misplaces passes.
I think.
See, I think
that was
first-
one of his worst games in a while, wasn't it? On the
It's
ball.
so shit.
On the ball.
I think
yeah,
first
we're
15,
not going
20
there
minutes,
today because we won.
after the Khusanov mistake, it looked like he was actively trying to avoid passing to him. But then I realised it was like he was actively avoiding trying to pass to anyone. Like he'd get the ball.
He drives me insane,
He'd get the ball in
mate.
front of the back four and decide that
Spin round
dribbling
in
into the
circles, we just
midfield is
run
the
round in
best way to
circles,
do
you
it.
don't, yeah.
I
But
thought.
that's
I mean, I
must be what
personally.
he's good at because defensively he's shit. So that should be the part of the game that he's good at, and he's just
Yeah,
not.
I
He's
think
not
I
doing
think
it.
we're gonna. My theory now is I've had a lot of theories, but my current theory is that we're gonna get Cambiasso. I think we're gonna stick him in midfield until the end of the season, and then we're gonna buy a proper midfielder in the summer, and Cambiasso will go to right back next year.
Right back and left back up, yeah.
This
Yeah.
doesn't help Gvardiol though, does it? That's the problem. Like bringing in Cambiasso is supposed to sort of help.
No,
take
it
some
does.
minutes out of
It
him.
does help. I'll tell you why it helps. Well, first of all, when Ake's back, you can then that's sort of sorted anyway when Ake's back. But it also helps because say we're 2 or 3-0 up, yeah, last 10 minutes, you can take Gvardiol off, put Cambiasso left back, and put Kovacic on or Gundogan on for the last 10 minutes, which is what they should have been used for in the first place.
I thought that'd be bringing Ireland off and putting another defender on. I wouldn't trust us 2 or 3-0 with 10 minutes to go anymore. Not this
But
year.
it would help us. But listen, I think that's what we're going to do. I think that they want a centre mid. They can't get him in January, so they're going to wait until the summer. And I think they're going to stick Cambiasso in midfield.
Yeah, I think we'll get Cambiasso and he'll be a big dog in the summer. Like,
But who's
I
the
agree.
big
I
dog?
agree.
Who's the big dog? That's the question. I don't know. That's the question, man. Big up to Martin. Says, just want to say thank you for all the support. Lovely message. Means a lot. See you all soon. It says Martin for the Mancunian way. Big up, bro. Appreciate it, man. Big up to Anthony as well. Says, need to buy a new right back and then midfielder. I think right back's going to be Cambiasso next year. So I think we're going to be Nunez and Akanji in it until the end of the season. And then, as I said, Cambiasso next year, back to right back. And yeah, we get a new midfielder. But I don't know who. It's going to be someone big, isn't it? But yeah, big up. Martin, big up.
It's not going to be Bruno because Bruno tweeted today he's not leaving.
Bro, honestly,
I think that ship sailed me, to be fair.
Locatelli, man. Oh my days, this guy's fucking good, you know. This guy
I've been wanting Locatelli for so Euro 20.
I feel like that's been flying
Yeah,
around
Euro
2020.
2020 he was so good.
Bro,
Yeah,
I'm
was
telling
unreal.
you now. I remember when we was linked with him, years
Would
ago.
that not have been done though already if we really wanted him? Because I feel
don't
like
know,
we've been
mate,
linked
but
to him for ages.
I watched him on Tuesday and he was so good. I was like, yo, this guy's a baller, man. Like,
Yeah, he's
proper
fucking mint
baller.
Locatelli.
But yeah, you would have thought that he's only got 2.5 years left on the contract. You would have thought if that was the guy, we would have just gone and dropped like 70 mil and just got him out.
Yeah, 27 now as well.
It's got to be someone a lot of money. It's got to be someone with a lot.
It's going to be someone with a lot of money whose profile fits the age group we're looking for.
I think it'll be Baleba,
23
mate.
years
I
old,
still
10
think it'll
years,
be
10 years
Baleba.
out of him.
Well,
Yeah.
apparently,
Like,
9320 podcast said that City reported, or someone reported that City apparently had scouts at the Ipswich Brighton game. Now, I know we get scouts quite far, but like they're obviously searching someone. It's not going to be Delap, is it? Because
I
if you
think
know
it's
all about Delap.
I think Baleba's the one. Yeah, with his age profile, like Pope has said as well. I think, and his Premier League experience.
Can I ask you a question then? If you think it's Baleba, why not think City just not going to whack the 110 million down now in January?
Brighton might have just said, mate, this is what we value.
We can't do it halfway through a season. Yeah.
But you don't think they're a selling club? You don't think they would have been like,
No,
yeah, cool.
no, but LB,
Yeah, but
LB, you know how Tony Bloom is. That guy's a
Yeah.
fucking. He's
In summer they
I
can
think
they might
they'll do
get
it summer. Yeah, I think
they might get a bidding war in summer. Like at the moment, it's just us in it. Like if anyone's in for him, whereas in summer you might have multiple clubs
on that
willing to
job.
front up that kind
Who
of
else is desperate for a DM? Really?
exactly where else would he go?
I think
In our
Arsenal,
league.
Arsenal,
In our league. Arsenal
will be at the end of the
Arsenal aren't
season.
throwing that much money at someone like that.
No, they-
Oh, because
Yeah,
they signed Declan Rice for 100 mil. I think it's
Yeah,
not.
I don't think they're going to throw that. They need, their priority is a striker right there.
They want to push Rice out of that DM role, though.
They're not going to spend another 100 million on Baleba.
No,
No,
not
way.
when they're desperate for a
No way.
striker as well.
No,
I think
yeah.
they're playing
They
beyond-
spend 100 million on a striker, don't they? instead?
Beyond that, you're looking at maybe. I mean, United won't because they're
Chelsea
talking about how
don't.
little money they've
Liverpool
got.
don't.
Chelsea don't. Liverpool don't. Spurs
Spurs
will never
United,
spend that.
United don't matter. Spurs, you don't matter. They're not there out of it. So who else is just literally the foot top?
I don't know. I don't know what the state of like Madrid and PSG are at the moment. I don't know what they're like.
Well,
in terms of
PSG,
defensive
you're not
mid.
going to get in front of Jean. Was it Jean Neves? Is it? the other day?
John Neves, yeah.
Yeah,
Chelsea
Real
will
Madrid.
probably
Real
do
Madrid
it
are
and play
Real
for
Madrid are
them.
stacked with players. They're not going to be
It's probably-
selling.
I wonder if City look at it because he's only been there since last year and he's not had that many games. I wonder maybe then if City are just going, you know what? Let's just do 6 months. Let's give him another 6 months. Let's make because this is going to cost over 100 million quid, right?
To make sure.
Let's just give him this extra. And I know City fans, and I'm saying it as well. I want the fucking player now. And if it was me, I'd just go and buy him straight away. But maybe City are going, we've got Nunes wrong. Yeah. We've got Phillips wrong. We can't afford to get this one wrong.
Yeah,
Let's
that
just
makes
see.
sense.
Let's just scout him for another 6 months. We'll wing it with whatever we've got. We'll maybe get Cambiasso and see if we can wing it there. I know it's not great, but let's just do that. And then if we're certain at the end of the season that Baleba's the one, we'll go into Tony Bloom's office. We'll say, what's the price? And we'll give it him in cash. But maybe they just, because he's so young and it's still pretty early in his career, he's only been here 18 months. Maybe they're just like, we're not prepared to quite, they just want to see a little bit more. Kind of like with Adam Wharton. Like Adam Wharton would probably be the similar situation, probably a bit cheaper than Baleba, probably like 80 mil, 70 mil, whatever. But they don't really, they want to see a little bit more.
If they'd have gone for Wharton in summer that would have looked like a ridiculous signing. But going for Wharton now maybe doesn't look quite
that's
as
kind of
nailed on and obvious as
that's
like
kind
it.
of what
So,
you just said there. It's like let him
Yeah.
let it stew. Let's see how it happens. Is he the real deal? Is he fit? Is he able to do 2 really consistent seasons? Because Wharton hasn't.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
so-
and he's not stayed fit.
Yeah, so it's like just let us see us in the end of the season. We can plug the gaps where we can.
Only problem, the problem with that though is that if Belabor continues to have a mint season till the end of the season, that price tag's only going up.
Yeah, well, I don't think the price matters as long as the player's good.
Yeah,
You know,
agreed.
if it's let's put this, they're gonna.
It's a life for Joe.
What did
He
what
is.
did they say Caicedo for? Was it 115?
Yeah,
115, yeah.
Right. So he's probably similar to that level, right? That'll be the ballpark they're looking for. I wouldn't say he was better. He wouldn't say he was bad. He's not like he's becoming like the best defensive midfielder in the world and scores a lot of goals and he's like unpassable. So it's like that's the ballpark figure. That's what City will be saying. Look, you got 115 for Caicedo. They'll ballpark around that. And if it goes up 10%, then they say, well, he's had another good season, good summer. And it does go up, and I can't see us entering into a bidding war for that price. So you get a free swing at it really at that money. And if City say we want him, and they say we want 170, and City say 110, you just walk away, and you can have a player that's going to be fucked off for the rest of his life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And Brighton love selling, man.
Brighton love it. They love a
Tony
he loves a pound note, doesn't he? He loves it. He's like any earn in the fucking football world. He loves a pound note. He'll do anything he can for it.
Yeah,
it's like Mr. Krabs, mate.
Yeah. So if that is the player, then that we all know Brighton are a selling club, and it's their biggest asset. And they'll just say, well, you can have him. If it's they do that thing where if you're buying him from us, it's got to be more than what we sold Caicedo for, and that's when you say like 116. Then they go, okay, well that proves us our business model works. So
yeah, facts. All right, then, boys. Well, big up to NV for becoming a channel member, bro. I appreciate the support. Big up to you, and big up the rest of the members in the chat. Big up MV. Big up AD. Says not fair on Kovacic. He's a baller. Regards to not passing to the back line. I think it's the right idea to keep Khusanov off the ball for a bit to clear his head. Thought that was a good idea.
I agree. I think that's what they did it, and it was probably helped by Bernardo just dropping in. That was I enjoyed to see that, and you could see on the pitch they just avoided passing in the ball when they didn't need to. Yeah.
I'm cool with that. It's about fucking game management.
Leadership.
Man.
That's leadership. That's
leadership.
It's like the famous saying.
It is. It's like I'm not passing to you because I don't want you to be under pressure. I don't want you to fuck up, so I'm going to pass it to someone.
Take the pressure off him. Yeah.
Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah. I think Bernardo wore the armband today, and he played like a fucking leader. I'm not saying I want him to be the captain, but he wore the armband and he played like he meant it.
How much do we think the mood's changed now? Carl Walker's gone in terms of the harmony.
I'm not going to answer that.
Come on, Joel. We know you're his number one fan.
I think there's no way. I think there's no way that the last 18 months of Kyle Walker's absolute shit off the pitch and the cloud that's put over the club and the dressing room hasn't had an impact in some way.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying it's the reason why we're shit. It's definitely not. The reason why we're shit is because of everything way beyond Kyle Walker. But I don't think it helps that he was by far the worst captain that we've had for a long time. He might have made a couple of nice speeches in the dressing room, but his actual sort of, what he does for the club as a captain, I don't think, as much as I think the players are they'll have only voted for him as a captain because they'll be happy with what he does in the dressing room. I don't think the players can be totally immune to all the outside noise stuff and everything that comes with Kyle Walker. And I think having a player who's obviously as well performed as terribly as he has this season, how many wins did we have when he actually started the game? 2 this season. That's awful. And I think that knowing that kind of player is out of your club is it can only be is only a good thing. It's
Bruno Bacon and Joe was like, fucking come on.
Hey,
that's Alan's thing. That's Alan's thing, the fishing rod.
Thank fuck he's gone. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I think he probably lifted the mood massively, man. I think he probably gone.
I do as well. I don't want to say it in a bad way, but I do genuinely think that the mood has massively improved because he's gone.
We've all worked. Most of us have worked in places where we've got family members who's or a friend in the group or something. There's always a dickhead, right? And someone always brings the mood down, and when they're not there, it's kind of different, right? There's always a different thing to that. So I feel like now he's not in the workplace anymore. The negativities is gone, and it's just sort of like everyone's like, "Oh fucking hell!" They're probably won't say it publicly, but everyone's like, there's probably people there going, "Thank fuck, this guy's gone now." We can fresh start, and it gives somebody else a chance to step up as the captain now, doesn't it?
Yeah, I thought
it removes
KDB. I
that.
thought I did
Yeah.
think KDB sort of like did that when he come on. Like he acted as a captain when he come on the football pitch.
Yeah,
Like,
Bernardo gave him the band, didn't he? Bernardo went over and gave him
the
the
band,
armband. So
and like KDB got the ball. And I was like, fucking get it into him, get it. And he just went nope, sideways, kept it ticking. Then he went to the corner flag with the ball. I was like, nah, fairs. I clocked what he did. Then I was like, you actually
game management.
Game management. That's it. All right, and boys, are we done? I think we're done. I think we've covered a lot there.
Yeah.
Guys,
a little bit of trouble at the end of the stream.
No, he's yeah, it's not a show.
And the
Pulpy doesn't
Pulpy
cause
starting wars.
controversy.
it's not a show if I don't slag off Kyle Walker as well. Yeah, so.
Yeah, I know.
That might Joe, that might have been the last time you forget to do that, mate. He's gone now.
I know.
You can chill.
You know what?
You
It's a
can
sad
chill out
time.
Should we talk about Grealish before we go?
Oh, why are you trying to
He's
start?
lovely.
That's not.
See you later, you go in prison. You go in prison, and you're getting named and shamed.
Oh, you can do that.
I still remember his goal v PSG. I still remember that goal. What a moment.
Another goal.
Whatever the British and the government's got against us, it must be serious, because they've tried everything apart from shoot us. A little lad's fighting his heart out here and get robbed in his own town, and British judges. You ought to be ashamed of yourselves, you political bastards.
I remember that goal. I think it was 3 days ago.
John Fury's the goal. You political bastard.
That's the funniest fucking clip ever.
Yeah,
Anyway,
so that Michael Jackson thing now. You know that gif where he's putting the gun down.
I know, yeah.
Walker, just put that point the gun down, mate. That's
my video stash is looking hella light, so I've got a meme folder. I'm gonna
you gotta get a Michael Jackson one, mate. Where it's just like, come on, put the gun down, mate.
Yeah, I need to cook. I need to cook. But yeah, listen, lads, big up for jumping on the show, man. Big up to Pat. Obviously, had to leave. He had to go work. And big up Tariq. He couldn't make it. He did try, but his signal was played up, man. So big up to him as well. Big up to you guys in the chat as well. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. Yeah. Oh, that Afghan Dan video. Oh my god, have you guys seen the Afghan Dan video?
The one where he's fighting.
No, the one where the guy says, "Oh, that guy called you a nonce, mate. What for your response to that?"
Oh yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
Right. Well, I'll leave the show with this, but it's pretty funny, guys. Check it out. And yeah, smash a like on the way out, guys. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel as well if you're new. I'll play this and then we'll dip off. See you in a bit, guys.
Between you and LT this week, proper bit. You could call it that. Yeah, it's it was proper bit. Yeah, man. It's just good to finally get it, sorted out in the ring. He called you a nonce up there today. Reaction to that? Well, at the end of the day, Bo, look, he's 21 years old, yeah? And if I was to actually crack on with the kid, I could do, Bo. You get me? Because he's of age, Bo, so there's no nonce about it.